Chapter 22. The children of Israel traveled, and encamped in the plains of Moab beyond the Jordan at Jericho. Balak the son of Zippor saw all that Israel had done to the Amorites. Moab was very afraid of the people, because they were many, and Moab was distressed because of the children of Israel. Moab said to the elders of Midian, "Now will this multitude lick up all that is around us, as the ox licks up the grass of the field." Balak the son of Zippor was king of Moab at that time. He sent messengers to Balaam the son of Beor, to Pethor, which is by the river, to the land of the children of his people, to call him, saying, "Behold, there is a people come out from Egypt, and they cover the surface of the earth, and they abide over against me. Please come now therefore and curse me this people, for they are too mighty for me. Perhaps I shall prevail that we may strike them, and I may drive them out of the land. For I know that he whom you bless is blessed, and he whom you curse is cursed." The elders of Moab and the elders of Midian departed with the rewards of divination in their hand, and they came to Balaam, and spoke to him the words of Balak. He said to them, "Lodge here this night, and I will bring you word again, as the Lord shall speak to me." And the princes of Moab abode with Balaam. God came to Balaam and said, "Who are these men with you?" Balaam said to God, "Balak the son of Zippor, king of Moab, has sent to me, saying, Behold, the people that has come out of Egypt, they cover the surface of the earth. Come now and curse them. Perhaps I shall be able to fight against them, and shall drive them out." God said to Balaam, "You shall not go with them. You shall not curse this people, for they are blessed." Balaam rose up in the morning and said to the princes of Balak, "Go back to your land, for the Lord refuses to give me leave to go with you." The princes of Moab rose up, and they went to Balak and said, "Balaam refuses to come with us." Balak sent more princes, more honorable than the first. They came to Balaam and said to him, "Thus says Balak the son of Zippor, Please let nothing hinder you from coming to me, for I will promote you to a very great honor, and whatever you say to me I will do. Please come therefore and curse this people for me." Balaam answered the servants of Balak, "If Balak would give me his house full of silver and gold, I can't go beyond the word of the Lord my God to do less or more. Now therefore please wait also here this night, that I may know what the Lord will speak to me." God came to Balaam at night and said to him, "If the men are come to call you, rise up, go with them, but only the word which I speak to you, that shall you do." Balaam rose up in the morning, and saddled his donkey, and went with the princes of Moab. God's anger was kindled because he went, and the angel of the Lord placed himself in the way for an adversary against him. Now he was riding on his donkey, and his 2 servants were with him. The donkey saw the angel of the Lord standing in the way, with his sword drawn in his hand, and the donkey turned aside out of the way and went into the field, and Balaam struck the donkey to turn her into the way. Then the angel of the Lord stood in a narrow path between the vineyards, a wall being on this side, and a wall on that side. The donkey saw the angel of the Lord, and she thrust herself to the wall, and crushed Balaam's foot against the wall, and he struck her again. The angel of the Lord went further, and stood in a narrow place, where there was no way to turn either to the right hand or to the left. The donkey saw the angel of the Lord, and she lay down under Balaam. And Balaam's anger was kindled, and he struck the donkey with his staff. The Lord opened the mouth of the donkey, and she said to Balaam, "What have I done to you, that you have struck me these 3 times?" Balaam said to the donkey, "Because you have mocked me. I would there were a sword in my hand, for now I would kill you." The donkey said to Balaam, "Am I not your donkey, on which you have ridden all your life long to this day? Have I ever done this to you before?" And he said, "No." Then the Lord opened the eyes of Balaam, and he saw the angel of the Lord standing in the way, with his sword drawn in his hand, and he bowed his head, and fell on his face. The angel of the Lord said to him, "Why have you struck your donkey these 3 times? Behold, I have come forth as an adversary, because your way is perverse before me, and the donkey saw me, and turned aside before me these 3 times. Unless ye had turned aside from me, surely now I had even slain you, and saved her alive. Balaam said to the angel of the Lord, I have sinned, for I didn't know that you stood in the way against me. Now therefore, if it displease you, I will go back again. The angel of the Lord said to Balaam, Go with the men, but only the word that I shall speak to you, that shall you speak. So Balaam went with the princes of Balak. When Balak heard that Balaam was come, he went out to meet him to the city of Moab, which is on the border of the Arnon, which is in the utmost part of the border. Balak said to Balaam, Didn't I earnestly send to you to call you? Why didn't you come to me? Am I not able indeed to promote you to honor? Balaam said to Balak, Behold, I have come to you. Have I now any power at all to speak anything? The word that God puts in my mouth, that shall I speak. Balaam went with Balak, and they came to Kiriath Huzoth. Balak sacrificed oxen and sheep, and sent to Balaam, and to the princes who were with him. It happened in the morning that Balak took Balaam, and brought him up to the high places of Baal, and he saw from there the utmost part of the people.
Psalm 62. For the chief musician, to Jeduthun, a psalm by David. My soul rests in God alone. My salvation is from him. He alone is my rock and my salvation, my fortress. I will never be greatly shaken. How long will you assault a man? Would all of you throw him down, like a leaning wall, like a tottering fence? They fully intend to throw him down from his lofty place. They delight in lies. They bless with their mouth, but they curse inwardly. My soul, wait in silence for God alone, for my expectation is from him. He alone is my rock and my salvation, my fortress. I will not be shaken. With God is my salvation and my honor. The rock of my strength and my refuge is in God. Trust in him at all times, you people. Pour out your heart before him. God is a refuge for us. Surely men of low degree are just a breath, and men of high degree are a lie. In the balances they will go up. They are together lighter than a breath. Don't trust in oppression. Don't become vain in robbery. If riches increase, don't set your heart on them. God has spoken once. Twice I have heard this, that power belongs to God. Also to you, Lord, belongs loving kindness, for you reward every man according to his work. Psalm 63, a psalm by David when he was in the desert of Judah. God, you are my God. I will earnestly seek you. My soul thirsts for you, my flesh longs for you, in a dry and weary land where there is no water. So I have seen you in the sanctuary, watching your power and your glory. Because your loving kindness is better than life, my lips shall praise you. So I will bless you while I live. I will lift up my hands in your name. My soul shall be satisfied as with the richest food. My mouth shall praise you with joyful lips, when I remember you on my bed and think about you in the night watches. For you have been my help. I will rejoice in the shadow of your wings. My soul stays close to you. Your right hand holds me up. But those who seek my soul to destroy it shall go into the lower parts of the earth. They shall be given over to the power of the sword. They shall be jackal food. But the king shall rejoice in God. Everyone who swears by him will praise him, for the mouth of those who speak lies shall be silenced.
Chapter 11. There shall come forth a shoot out of the stock of Jesse, and a branch out of his roots shall bear fruit. The Spirit of the Lord shall rest on him, the Spirit of wisdom and understanding, the Spirit of counsel and might, the Spirit of knowledge and of the fear of the Lord. His delight shall be in the fear of the Lord, and he shall not judge after the sight of his eyes, neither decide after the hearing of his ears. But with righteousness shall he judge the poor, and decide with equity for the humble of the earth. And he shall strike the earth with the rod of his mouth, and with the breath of his lips shall he kill the wicked. Righteousness shall be the belt of his waist, and faithfulness the belt of his loins. The wolf shall dwell with the lamb, and the leopard shall lie down with the kid, and the calf and the young lion and the fattened calf together, and a little child shall lead them. The cow and the bear shall feed, their young ones shall lie down together, and the lion shall eat straw like the ox. The sucking child shall play on the hole of the asp, and the weaned child shall put his hand on the adder's den. They shall not hurt, nor destroy in all my holy mountain. For the earth shall be full of the knowledge of the Lord, as the waters cover the sea. It shall happen in that day, that the root of Jesse, who stands for an ensign among the people, to him shall the nations seek, and his resting place shall be glorious. It shall happen in that day, that the Lord will set his hand again the second time, to recover the remnant of his people who shall remain, from Assyria, and from Egypt, and from Pathros, and from Cush, and from Elam, and from Shinar, and from Hamath, and from the islands of the sea. He will set up a sign for the nations, and will assemble the outcast of Israel, and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth. The envy also of Ephraim shall depart, and those who vex Judah shall be cut off. Ephraim shall not envy Judah, and Judah shall not vex Ephraim. They shall fly down on the shoulder of the Philistines on the west. Together they shall despoil the children of the east, and they shall put forth their hand on Edom and Moab, and the children of Ammon shall obey them. The Lord will utterly destroy the tongue of the Egyptian sea, and with his scorching wind will he wave his hand over the river, and will strike it into 7 streams, and cause men to march over in sandals. There shall be a highway for the remnant of his people who shall remain from Assyria, like as there was for Israel in the day that he came up out of the land of Egypt. Chapter 12. In that day you will say, I will give thanks to you, Lord, for though you were angry with me, your anger has turned away, and you comfort me. Behold, God is my salvation. I will trust and will not be afraid. For the Lord is my strength and song, and he has become my salvation. Therefore with joy you shall draw water out of the wells of salvation. In that day you will say, Give thanks to the Lord, call on his name, declare his doings among the peoples, proclaim that his name is exalted. Sing to the Lord, for he has done excellent things. Let this be known in all the earth. Cry aloud and shout, you inhabitant of Zion, for great in the midst of you is the Holy One of Israel.
Come now, you rich, weep and howl for your miseries that are coming on you. Your riches are corrupted, and your garments are moth-eaten. Your gold and your silver are corroded, and their corrosion will be for a testimony against you, and will eat your flesh like fire. You have laid up your treasure in the last days. Behold, the wages of the laborers who mowed your fields, which you have kept back by fraud, cry out, and the cries of those who reaped have entered into the ears of the Lord of hosts. You have lived delicately on the earth, and taken your pleasure. You have nourished your hearts as in a day of slaughter. You have condemned, you have murdered the righteous one. He doesn't resist you. Be patient, therefore, brothers, until the coming of the Lord. Behold, the farmer waits for the precious fruit of the earth, being patient over it, until it receives the early and late rain. You also be patient. Establish your hearts, for for the coming of the Lord is at hand. Don't grumble, brothers, against one another, so that you won't be judged. Behold, the judge stands at the door. Take, brothers, for an example of suffering and of patience, the prophets who spoke in the name of the Lord. Behold, we call them blessed who endured. You have heard of the patience of Job, and have seen the Lord in the outcome, and how the Lord is full of compassion and mercy. But above all things, my brothers, don't swear, neither by heaven, nor by the earth, nor by any other oath, but let your yes be yes, and your no, no, so that you don't fall into hypocrisy. Is any among you suffering? Let him pray. Is any cheerful? Let him sing praises. Is any among you sick? Let him call for the elders of the assembly, and let them pray over him, anointing him with oil in the name of the Lord. And the prayer of faith will heal him who is sick, and the Lord will raise him up. If he has committed sins, he will be forgiven. Confess your offenses to one another, and pray for one another, that you may be healed. The effective, earnest prayer of a righteous man is powerfully effective. Elijah was a man with a nature like ours, and he prayed earnestly that it might not rain, and it didn't rain on the earth for 3 years and 6 months. He prayed again, and the sky gave rain, and the earth brought forth its fruit. Brothers, if any among you wanders from the truth, and someone turns him back, let him know that he who turns a sinner from the error of his way will save a soul from death, and will cover a multitude of sins.